Hello everyone, welcome. This is part 1 of the MS Fridtjof Nansen build series, and this episode we're working on doors. If you guys are wondering how this is episode 1 and we are this far along in the build, I do highly recommend you go check out my Discord server, link in the description, and you can check back through all the images and see where she started from. But if you look over here, you'll see there's two pretty big doors over here, and we need to get those working. So let's go ahead and hop into the workbench. We'll roll a time lapse. Let's go. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and clean up this gangway area here real quick, just so we can get everything ready for us to build this. We'll try out a few designs, but we won't really land on any of those quite yet. We'll do those later. We're going to go and add those crew doors just so when we put it in the boat, it will seal. Then we'll go ahead and fill in this wall here. Mess around with a few window styles and eventually figure out which ones fit. Then we're going to start building the main control room for the gangway here. Then we got to repaint the door. Now we'll play around with a few different methods to open the door, but we'll just roll the music and watch the troubleshooting ensue. Alright, now that we got that door working, we're going to go ahead and start working on the actual gangway. So my first plan here was to have these two tracks, so you could adjust the starting height and the end height for two decks and then wherever your dock might be. But we ran into some issues with it stretching because as you angle something, it takes more floor to get to that angled. So we had to work around that with quite a few tracks actually, but we'll see it up here, so I hope you enjoy. Alright, and as you can see, if we play around with these levers a little bit, you can see how we can adjust the starting height and the end height. So if we stand out here, you can see one side is going down from the main deck down there to that lower deck with those two doors, and the other side is currently just kind of seesawing up as this side comes down. But then of course we can lift that other side with that track there to the left of us. Yep, so there we go. We can bring that side way down. So yeah, that's how the gangway works so far. Alright, so we just finished this gangway door right here, up near the front. Now it is time to do this door further back, the main provision door. So, we will just grab this really quick. We will grab the entire door, and then we will grab the walls surrounding it. Go way down there. And that should be pretty good. Alright, and after hours of trying to get this dang door to work right here, I didn't record half of it. So, we'll take this time to ask you guys if you prefer the time lapses, or if you would prefer me to just do more cuts and checkpoints throughout the build process. Alright, so the first one on our list is the gangway. If we just come down the main stairs into the atrium here, we do have the gangway right here, and this will have a sealed watertight door right there, because at the moment this door doesn't quite seal, but that's okay. So this is the main control room for all of this stuff in here. It's not too complicated, it's just got a few switches. So the first one is the gangway door right here, and we can watch that go up. Right, there we go. That is the door fully open. And now we've got a few options with this. So we can activate it right here, otherwise nothing will work. And if we hit extend, we are currently just extending it out here. And at the moment, this is just on the crew deck. So right below, there is the crew access. These doors will change, but this is all down in the crew. So you need to do a crew change and you've just got crew moving around, you could just hook it up here. And then of course, this isn't very helpful just being at this one height. So we can come back up here and we can lift this up a little bit, and we can go pretty high before those railings start clipping with the doors. Of course, you got to use a little bit of common sense when operating stuff. But yeah, you can get quite the angle. I do believe you might be able to go all the way. No, you can't. Here. We'll drop it back down. And of course, as I just said, there'll be different doors here, so maybe we'll avoid this issue. But if I do open those doors, you can go all the way up, which is about a 45-degree angle, so it looks super steep, and it is steep, but you can still comfortably walk up it. You do hit your head a little bit on this door, though, but just there if you ever do need to go that high. We'll ignore that. We lower this down again. Of course, you can always adjust how long the extension is there. And now we can hit the cycle deck, and that's just going to change this track from being on the crew deck up to the main passenger deck here in the atrium. And this one has way more angles that you can do just because it can go down. So once it stops up here, you can see it fits in pretty good, and you just have a pathway straight into the main atrium on board. And if we lower this all the way down, you can see we get just about to the water line, which is pretty good, I'd say. We do have to extend it all the way, though. Go ahead and do that. Out. See it coming out. And that is how low you can get with it on the main guest deck. And you can still walk up it and everything. And if we lift it all the way up, this one I do believe you don't hit your head on the highest option with this. And I do believe you can get onto the default Stormworks docks, which are ridiculously tall. Yeah, so that's as high as you can go. A little shorter than what it can get to on the crew, because it can pivot more, but still quite a good angle. You can go up quite a bit, and you're pretty much grazing the door. So, can't go much higher. So that is the gangway, and then I've set this up so if you just hit this, everything will go down and it'll go to its stored position down on the crew deck. And once that is in all the way, I will close the main gangway here, or the gangway door, I guess I should say. There we go. Then we can watch that come in. And this is still pretty rough, not as bad. Still pretty rough on the closing, though. I think it swings. Yeah, we need to get that timing better. The other door is a little bit better. But this is the main gangway. Now, if we just hop down here take one of these doors, we can head to the back into the tender garage right here. So not much here yet, but we have this second door that we've just made. So these are the two giant doors on this side, and this is the provision door. This is not for the tenders to go out. That's the long one on that side. We go ahead and just open this here. We can open this door, and they both kind of accordion their way up, and then they maintain a pitch, so you should be able to get pretty tall things through these doors. Although this one doesn't have as much height as it looks like it does. I do believe these tracks are going to go all the way up though, so you can load cargo at those high heights. If we turn on this system here, we can release the deck alignment connectors, and we can lift it up here. And this is quite a slow system, but of course, when you're handling cargo, you don't want it flying around everywhere. So we'll actually just stop it here. If we do that, it'll clip up here. And now we're just aligned with this deck here, so you can roll things or push things in. And then of course you can extend it. Doesn't go quite as far as the gangway does, but presumably you would have a forklift on shore to load stuff onto this. And of course you don't have to operate at the deck with these connectors. You can release it, lower it down, I believe 3 blocks-ish before it hits. Yeah, so there's it hitting. So you can get pretty low. Then you can also get it pretty high, and of course, as I just mentioned, we're gonna lift those up further. And don't mark my words, but I do believe there is going to be a forklift on board. So if you want to put it on the cargo loader, put it on shore, use it, then bring it back on board, you should be able to do that. We'll see how it works. This one does not auto reset like the other one does, so you can't just turn off the power. You'll have to pull it in yourself and then lower it down. And you can store it at whichever deck you'd like to. But I do believe it is the safest and minimal risk of damaging other stuff at the very bottom. We can close that cargo door up again. There we go. That one's a little bit better. Still not great though. And that's almost down. There it is. Now we can unrelease those, get those connected. Perfect. Turn it off. And that is the 2 doors. I really hope you guys enjoyed. And there should be a part 2 out fairly soon. Maybe we'll do weekly on these. We'll see how they go. But I believe the next project is the atrium. So if you're excited to seeing what this is going to look like when it's done, come back next week, and yeah, we'll keep on chugging away at this gigantic boat.